One thing we didn't look up when we were moving to Nova Scotia is hurricanes.
Hurricane season. We lived through hurricane season now 2 years in a row.
Hurricane Lee is on its way. Last year, we made it through Hurricane Fiona. Philip English here, reporting live from inside Fiona. She is giving us some drizzling rain and a whole lot of freaking wind. But there's a lot we have to do on this homestead to get up to shape and ready to battle Hurricane Lee.
And it's supposed to be arriving tomorrow night, sometime within the middle of the night. And we keep getting warnings every week that there's another hurricane. So sometimes it's hard to know if you really need to like batten down the hatches or if it's just another warning to kind of watch out for. Because as you know, as hurricanes are coming across the ocean, they often change paths and then you've maybe prepared for something that doesn't happen. So usually we wait and we kind of monitor the storm throughout the week and we watch the news and the reports as they see the hurricane transitioning from different stages and different locations before we really go and not only spend money but get the homestead completely battened down.
Last year when dealing with Fiona, we had some really good tools that we utilized to help us get through, especially those long days with no power.
11 long days with no power.
But this year, we're prepared because we got some new artillery.
I'm so excited for this.
Excited for a hurricane?
I mean, to use the new artillery.
Oh, okay.
Last year when we went through Hurricane Fiona, a few days before we heard that the hurricane was going to be quite large and literally going right over our homestead, we ended up being in the eye of the storm. So luckily it was pretty calm as it went over us because we were in the eye. But had she just been to the left or to the right, goodness knows what would have happened if we wouldn't have been directly in the eye. So really we came off so lucky that nothing on the homestead was damaged at all.
Some trees,
but like no structure to the house or any buildings or anything like that. So that definitely helped us to survive the hurricane. And honestly, I think ultimately we had a lot of fun getting a little bunker set up in the pantry and just had a little camp out with the kids and candles going and fun things. We tried to make it as fun and as calming for the boys as possible. It's about 11 p.m. It's sounding pretty blustery outside, but the storm has not yet hit us, but we are in the pantry. Not exactly what we had in mind for the pantry renovation. I will show you once we have the flashlight on in a second, but we've made a bunkie out of our little pantry spot here. We have the windows boarded up. Dogs are comfy, boys are comfy. We have all of our food and supplies in here. You guys comfy?
Yeah.
Let me see a day. Oh, Dane's not feeling 100%, but we're in here and we're safe. One thing we did before Fiona last year that I was happy in hindsight after the storm that we did was that while we were kind of preparing, we actually took some clips of the homestead and what it looked like before the storm, like what the water level was at and kind of how things were. Because it was really a huge difference to look at after the hurricane what happened to our brook. And we were shocked as we started to watch over the storm that the water level rose so much. We just thought we would kind of document what the water level is at right now on our brook because we've seen it come up a little bit higher when we first got to Nova Scotia, but it's definitely lower right now than it's been in a while.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to see how high it's gonna get with the rainfall we're going to get. So you can see plenty of the rocks here, and that's how we always know if it's shallower or deeper is what rocks we can see on our little spot that we always go to when we're going off on our paddle boards and that. We can always tell what the water level's at just by what rocks we can see. So we'll give a little pan over and just show what it's at right now. I'm really curious at the end of the weekend what it's gonna be like. You can already see before we even get to the hill where our patio furniture was, how high it is, and that there's a tree right here that had fallen and now one laying here. So we definitely have some trees down that were on this side. It's a little bit of, holy cow. So over the past month, we have had so much rain. And I think you can tell if you look at the water that normally we have a lot of rocks showing in the middle of this area right here, where you can see it starts to rapid down a little bit. And right now, none of our rocks are showing, and that's because our water level is so high right now because we've already had so much rain. And because there's going to be a hurricane, we are in for some more rain, obviously. And when Hurricane Fiona happened, the water level went almost to the underside of our bridge. So I want to show you what it looks like now so we can see after Hurricane Lee, what does it look like. We aren't specifically at our actual house worried about our house flooding, but we definitely had water coming up onto our property. We do go up a couple planes of height before you get to our house, which I'll show you on the other side.
Yeah, can you imagine the water flowing up that high and how fast the force behind the water just takes everything out in its path? And this river becomes a lake.
Last year when we did have Hurricane Fiona, we didn't have the horses, and so we're gonna do prep today. Chickens, ducks, and turkey coop is all like situated. We're letting the dogs run today, get their sillies out in case they're kind of in for the weekend with us, and then the horses, obviously get them out today because they might be spending the day tomorrow, you know, evening into Sunday part of the day in the barn rather than being outside, so they don't have to just stand in the storm. Luckily we can tuck them in and give them a nice spot, but we have a bunch of stuff to do today to prepare in case we do get hit pretty good from the hurricane.
Hello, Mr. Grasshopper. You're 40. That was my almost 40-year-old noise.
Oh, my hip.
My hip. You went through the trees? Okay, you're coming back for this chair I was carrying. I'm not pulling it through there.
I'm only going one way through.
Yeah, we have a pathway here we can get through, but the patio furniture he's going through. I didn't want the camera to get all wet. So we're gonna tuck all the patio furniture away, but our ground is already really saturated all on this side. So hopefully, I mean, that's just because we've had so much rain. This last 3 weeks have been pretty much rain. That's why we haven't got to any of our outdoor projects. Okay, we'll get the key, but let's move the saws and I'll bring the cushions down from the front porch patio furniture. Sure. And you're gonna ratchet the barbecue.
I'm gonna ratchet the barbecue, yeah. We're gonna just pre-fire up the generator and get it going for a couple minutes and just make sure, last thing you want to do is have a problem during the hurricane and then you can't get it started. So I like to just make sure there's no bugs or anything going wrong with it. And
I'm gonna pick up some fuel for it today in case we do need to use it. Philip has the one quad over in the shed over here because we had so much hay in the garage. And until the horses are in their full-size barn, we can't use the mini barn for hay. So that's just what we've had to do for now. And so he's gonna move the quad into the garage and then we can put all the patio furniture into the shed. I would much rather something happen to the patio furniture than something happen to the quad. So we're gonna get it out of there and get it in a safe spot, especially because it's Chase's. I think he's got to do some garage work on some of the quads this week anyway, so good to get it out into the garage anyway. Oh, are you gonna rip? If I forget these and I get almost an hour from home, that's not going to be good. So let's put them in the truck now.
I know this seems a little overkill, but have you ever seen after a hurricane people trying to swim or canoe out of their house? This is just for peace of mind.
Philip's gonna pump up the paddle boards. These are like ones that you can inflate or deflate. So when we take them somewhere, we'll use our jackery to be able to pump them up. And so he's gonna use the quad to be able to pump them up, get them ready. And then we're just gonna set them on top of the quads in the garage, because this is like the highest part of our land is over here by the garage. So if we needed to evacuate the house and get to the garage to get on the paddle boards, we'll know well in advance if the water's getting up that high that this would be needed.
Is this overkill, YouTube family? Is this too much?
And we feel like we're like totally hurricane season newbies that we're blowing up our paddle boards in case it floods this tall. Like if it floods this tall, all of our whole area would be underwater.
Oh yeah, the water would be going so fast, we don't want to be on a paddleboard.
This is so overkill, but we're doing it anyways because we have two precious children that we need to make sure that we have plan A, B, C, D, E all the way to Z.
I just want to take them out and catch the wave.
I'll get that on, I'll capture that on camera. Don't worry, YouTube family, I will not let you down if that happens.
I can see it in your eyes. I can feel it in your touch. I can hear it in your voice. Though you haven't said that much. Through an empty bottle.
All right, we're ready. Our propane's all filled up so we can cook and use the wood stove. Now we gotta go get fuel for the jerry cans and pick up the boys.
Will be scattered in the
For a year, I've been obsessed with this Jackery 1000 Pro. I use it absolutely every chance I get. I use it for music, I take it down to the brook, I fill paddle boards, I use power tools. It literally helped me build the paddock for the horses. This thing is a workhorse. When we first got it, we didn't know how much we were actually going to use it, but we use it all the time. We use it with the solar panels, which I think is one of the coolest things. I love getting the solar panels out, creating my own energy, my own power, and then using that power throughout the day. Nothing feels better than free power. Since we use this so much, we thought it was a great tool to have that we got an upgrade. The Explorer 3000 Pro.
Philip has been dying to open this, and when we heard another hurricane was coming, we were like, well, that's perfect because we need to try out our upgrade. This is so amazing. One of the things that's really great about these is that you can plug them in and charge them from your house if you need to be able to charge them really quickly, or you can use the solar panels. The same solar panels we had for the 1000 Pro you can use for the 3000 Pro to be able to obviously charge it up. We haven't had any sun this week.
No, we haven't had any sun this week, but we have longer lasting energy, longer lasting power. This is gonna help the homestead tenfold.
When we were building the paddock, we used the 1000 Pro with our circular saw all day. And when we realized when we came in after working all day with it, when it was started at 100%, what was our percent after the whole day?
I think 70 something.
We barely used any of it, and it was still had so much charge for other things. So because we haven't had any sun this whole week, we are going to charge the Jackeries tonight while we sleep because the storm isn't supposed to come till tomorrow. That way we'll have two fully charged Jackeries, the 1000 Pro and the 3000 Pro. So this is not a sponsored video, but oftentimes when we try something, we want you guys to know like how great they are, and we always have to disclose if it's sponsored or not, and this is definitely not, but these are going to be a huge asset for us for the storm. So this is amazing for us because we do have so many power outages. Last winter, first winter we were here, we had 17 power outages from November 1st to April 1st. And last year, I think we had 11, but they were for longer duration. So maybe not as frequent, but they were for a long time. And that was not including Fiona, which was 11 whole days. The other thing about having the Jackeries is it costs
so much money to run a gas or propane generator for 11 days if you're out. And so using these costs us, maybe if we charge them in the house, a little bit on a power bill, not much at all. We didn't even notice when we've used it, but also free solar outside. There really is nothing better than having free energy and not having to go and spend money on fuel before you have a big storm. And you might be wondering, well, you saw me today go get fuel. I did get 2 of our jerry cans filled with fuel, but that is because you just honestly never know how bad it's going to be. And because we've never used a 3000 Pro yet, we don't know how long it will really power a whole house. It's best for us to just have a bunch of backups. And when you live in the middle of nowhere, backup A, B, and C is key.
Absolutely.
That wasn't supposed to rhyme, but it did.
It was good.
So I think we're all set. We actually had a lot of fun together today getting things done and prepared for the hurricane while the boys were at school. We always have so much fun working together, even if it's for something that is a little bit worrisome and you're never really sure what exactly is going to happen. And honestly, it was things that needed to get prepared and kind of put away for fall anyways. And so it's kind of nice just to get a few of those loose ends done and take a break from rolling white paint. I did work on a few creative projects this week, which are available on ElysiaEnglish.com. You can see we have a few new categories on there, in addition to our Hudson and London Christmas ornaments for 2023. We have already been receiving orders for our cute ornament sets. The hangers are behind me there. You just can't really see. It's hard to show them hanging like this. But they're available on my site, and all of the proceeds from ElysiaEnglish.com go towards our content. So if you want to help support what we do on our channel, you can order a set. There's other ornaments on there as well, and we're doing a launch of Christmas ornaments and different things for the holiday season on October 1st. So if you haven't had a chance to check it out, I'll put the link in the description box down below. And thank you to everyone who has already ordered. There is a limited number of these available, and we still do have just a couple, I think very small couple of ornaments of baby Hudson and London from last year that are still available, but I think there's only a few, so it will be gone within the next day or two, I'm assuming, and then they won't be available again. So get them while you can. But thank you so much for the reminders and the warnings all week. We've received emails and direct messages and all of the ways you could possibly figure out how to contact us to warn us that a hurricane was coming. And even though we hadn't mentioned it on our channel, we knew, and we were watching and just waiting to see what kind of preparations we were going to need in it, you know, as we saw all of the updates for what was going to happen with the storm. So thank you for always thinking of us. You guys are so amazing at always making sure that we're safe, warning us of things, and just checking in on us, which makes us feel so loved. So thank you for that. So we want to send all the love right back to you if you are preparing yourself for Hurricane Lee, or you already have experienced it, depending on where you were. We hope everyone is safe. Have a really safe holiday, and we hope that we will see you tomorrow for our tomorrow episode. If you don't see us tomorrow, well, please don't worry about us. We are going to be just fine. If we don't post because of the weather, we are just all fine. So please don't worry. But we are hoping to have our episode up for you tomorrow. So I love you. Thank you always for cheering on my family and sending us so much love all the time and good vibes. And I will see you on tomorrow's episode.